Right, I just want to talk about the British education system and how it was vital in teaching me vital things that have been vital for my life. Now, what I learned is a, b, k, d, e, f, g, h. And so on. And then what I learned is that triangles have three sides, squares have four, and what happens is they go up to like 10 sides, a decagon, a dodecahedron, and there's all these mad shapes. I didn't even learn about a dodecahedron when I was at school, because that's way too complicated for a wacko who only knows, who fails at identifying an octagon. What else I learnt at school was, because it was vital for my development and my life, because you've got to go to school to learn this shit. I learnt that the capital of Mexico is Mexico City, and the capital of Switzerland is Bern. And that in England we have white with like a red cross on it for our flag. And in Scotland they have blue with a white cross. And in Wales they've got a dragon, and in Ireland they've got orange, white, or beige, or whatever fucking colour, and green, I think. I don't really know, because I can't really remember that, because that's how important it's been in my life. And yeah, and Germany has got black in it, yellow in it, and white in it, in lines. They don't have a cross. Some people have crosses on their flags, and some people have stars. Some people have monsters, flying ones. It's a bit weird, but anyway. Some have like eagles. I learned that Sikhs don't eat cows. And I learned that Muslims don't eat pigs. And there was someone called Guru Nanak. And they believe in reincarnation. So that was vital for my life, knowing all that, being English and all that. Yeah. And there was this man called Shakespeare, and he wrote books, and they rhyme when you read them in a certain way. Wow! It's amazing. It was amazing, apparently. His books were the greatest stories ever in make-believe land. When I was at school, I learnt about Romeo and Juliet. Oh, it was a tragic love story of betrayal and romance. Oh, epic. It was epic. How true love can end in tragedy like that. I learned that if you cut open pigs' hearts, there's like these little airway things that you can put your finger in that in. Lungs that you chop up and stick your fingers in, all that shit. Do a pump and it makes it go. And I learned that inside my testicles, there's like little tadpoles. And then they swim out and go into eggs. And then they can make, and that makes babies. Because it was vital for me to understand that later on in life, that white goo, white see-through goo, is actually tadpoles. It was vital for me to know that. It's fallopian tubes. It's like these fallopian tubes. And all that. And what else I learned at school was that in 1066, there was this battle of Hastings, and William the Conqueror shot King Harold in the eye. And the French invaded England, and that's why a calf is actually French, and they call it a café. Now, gays in this country call a calf a cafe. And I learned that my country's government were mean to black people and shit them around the world. And I learned smell the cheese. I learned 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare thumb war. I learned that if you do this thing on a calculator, it says boobless. I learned about syphilis, because in the science book there was a picture of someone with a penis with syphilis. And I also learned that that's a picture of your dad's cock. And, you know, this has all been vital for my life. Honestly, I've needed this every day of my life. Like 12 years it took me to learn this. I learned that in Norway, there are fjords, and they eat sandwiches without 2 slices of bread. And what we also learnt was, we learnt to count and say a couple of words in other languages. That was vital for my life, honestly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Je m'appelle Terry. J'habite à Luton. So if ever I get lost and just end up somewhere and there's French people about, I can let them know. I can have a conversation with them, because I know French. I'll let them know that I can count to 10. That my name is Terry and I'm from Luton. See you later then. that was a good conversation. It's vital for me to learn all of that for years and years and years. Oh, and what I could do is sing a song to them. Il est planté tel la joue à la mata, à la mata. Il est planté tel la joue à la mata nous chez nous. Apparently, that's a French song about planting cabbages with your feet. So it was great that I spent years of my life learning that when I was young, sat in a fucked up position. And I learned that about Hitler in the war, and that we won the war, and that Hitler was very horrible to Jews, and he was a nasty man. But thankfully we won the war. I learned that I'm on a giant spinning ball, and that rain clouds are steam, just big piles of steam that float about. I learnt to wire a plug, 3 wires and 3 screws. I learned that the Egyptians had hieroglyphs, and that the pyramids were built by slaves a long time ago. And that a long time ago there was these monsters and that about called dinosaurs, T-Rex. And all that. I can't remember any more of them either, because that's how important they are in my life. And there was once something called a duck-billed platypus, but not anymore. It's gone. Like all the dinosaurs went. And I learnt that not a lot more than that, really. Not a lot more. I learnt how to make a key ring, because that's been vital for my life, making key rings. Don't know what I'd have done without learning how to make a key ring, or knowing the tale of Romeo and Juliet. It's vital. And I learned to hit a ball with a bat and kick a ball in a net, and hit a ball with a stick, and hit a ball with a racket. And we sung songs. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first day. Because that was vital for my life as well. I learned how to draw a shoe. And a face. It's good if you like drawing shoes, to learn how to do that. Some people do. It's their hobby. Just like kicking the balls in it in the balls. What else you do, right? You get these things, yeah, and you're blowing them, and you go, and it makes noise. And you whack things like that, yeah, they make noise. When someone does really well, what you gotta do is give them a right good clapping. Let's clap at everything. Well, that summed up my education. I don't know where I went wrong in life, really. I don't know why I don't know anything about the world. How to do anything. But I would learn how to write a letter, lick a stamp. Because that was vital to learn how to write letters. Because you used to have to send letters to people with money in them to pay them billionaires. And you learn how to write your names. Oh, yes. Oh, and I learned that in the air that I breathe is called oxygen. And trees breathe something called carbon dioxide. But now, it was a good job we learnt about that carbon dioxide shit. Because apparently, that carbon dioxide shit that we were taught about is now killing everyone. And is causing the world's weather to change without doing anything to the world's weather at all. I was taught about climate change at school, though. But I'm pretty certain that the weather is exactly the same as it was when I was a kid. You get hot days, rainy days, cold days. Every now and then you get a bit of hail, a bit of thunder and lightning, and a little bit of snow. But apparently, that's crazy weather now. Not crazy wacko people. They think that's vital for their children. If you think that's vital for your children, you just need to die. That's what the education system did to me. And I just thought I'd let you know what I learned.